I'm going to answer the question that so many of you have asked me: how do I get my amazing guests? If you want to grow your podcast, your YouTube channel, your online summit, your blog, by connecting with influencers, I'm going to talk about how I went from nothing, from zero to Tony Robbins in 18 months. And that also included people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone and a bunch of celebrities now like Rachel Ray and Dave Ramsey. So many amazing people. So I'm going to tell you how I did that. I'm going to tell you some things that I've heard a lot that don't actually work. And I'm going to give you my best tips. Of Kelsey Q&A. I'm Kelsey Humphreys, host and producer of The Pursuit, an online talk show about success and entrepreneurship and pursuing your dream. I've put in over 4,000 hours interviewing and studying success and successful people. And so in this series, I answer your questions and break down success for the rest of us. How do we apply all of this amazing stuff that we learn from them in real life? Also talk a little bit about my own journey, which we're talking about today, because a lot of people want to know, how do I get such amazing guests and how to connect with influencers? First, I want to tell you a few things I hear all the time that do not work. 1, engaging on social media. Have you seen a social media newsfeed lately? There's no way they're going to see that. The only way for them to actually notice you would be for you to be patient and wait for years, which is a viable option, or the other one, which is for you to be creepy stalker level engaged, which is just going to creep them out. Sharing their stuff, replying to them, I don't really believe that that actually works. The next thing, telling them your story and your vision, telling them what you're going to do, explaining your dream to them, telling them why you're the best and you're such a hustler and you have so much to offer. Guys, they have this long to listen to what you have to say. When you get to actually talk to them, because you're going to follow these tips and you're going to crush it, what you have to do is explain how you can provide value to them or to their audience. If they're an influencer, they have people that look to them and people they feel responsible to. So how are you either giving them value personally or for their audience? And the last thing, when it comes to adding value, I don't really think, for the most part, to connect with an influencer, offering your services for free is gonna work. Now, I know some of you who love Gary Vee, like I do so much, are gonna say, what about D-Rock? You're right. There's a rare case where you can catch an influencer when they're on the upswing and they don't have a huge staff for whatever it is that you do. For in this example, it was video at the very beginning, and you can actually make this work. But if that happens and you're like the 1%, you better be the most legit of the legit, best tippity top at what you do. Because if not, they could easily just like your idea and then hire someone a lot better to actually work with them. And this is my first tip for you, okay? If you're at the beginning, you have like 3 podcast episodes, or you have 100 subscribers, or maybe 1,000, blog readers or whatever, and you're like, I have value to offer them because I have a podcast, or I have a blog, or I have an audience. No, you don't. We have nothing to offer them, you guys. Really, nothing. Nada, zilch, zippo, goose egg, zero, nothing, okay? I know it's harsh, but it's true. We've got nothing. Because they already can reach millions of people. They can run an ad and reach thousands like that if they want to, okay? If you're talking about big time influencers, don't abandon this video and go cry in the corner, because I have my advice for you on how to create the value that will actually get their attention, knowing that right now you probably have nothing. First, when you're building whatever it is that you're building, if you haven't started yet or you're just getting started, realize that you start local and then you build out from there. So for the Pursuit pilot episode, I reached out to an influencer that had over 100,000 Twitter followers. He was based here in Oklahoma City with me, and I asked him if he would do a pilot, knowing that the pilot episode may never get posted and the whole thing might fall apart, which I got lucky. Okay, that is luck, because he said yes, and he didn't have to say yes. I was offering him nothing. I just took the risk. I mean, I was offering him, to be on my show, but the show may not even happen. So that was a huge, that was a stroke of luck for me, and also just, I think he appreciated, like, that I had the balls to do that. And so we made this great pilot episode, and that's the only local person I've interviewed. Immediately, I went from there to New York Times bestselling authors that I love and admire in Nashville. Nashville is where my sister lives, so I had a free place to stay, and I had a camera of hers that I could use, okay? This is working with what you have, when you have it, right now where you are, okay? I talk about that a lot. Once you have one great pilot like I did, or once you have one great episode, or you have a few great episodes, then you expand out and out and out to bigger influence. You don't have to stay local for a long time. You just have to do really well at each level, okay? And I do want to tell you that there is some value in circling around the person that you actually want. I was just doing it naturally because I love the people that I have on the show, and I naturally was gravitating towards the people around them. So let's say you want to have Michael Hyatt on as a guest. It would make sense for you to approach all of his past students that he does joint ventures with, people that he promotes all the time, people who have gone through his courses. Reach out to them first. Then, in a couple months later, when you reach out to him directly, or a year later, then he's actually seen your face a couple times. He's heard about you. He's maybe even watched or read some of your content. So that is a really great way to do it. But make sure, this is a given, okay, that you're not just reaching out to these people because of their influence or their connection to someone of influence if it doesn't make sense for your blog or your brand or your podcast or whatever it is you're creating. Like, if it doesn't make sense, the influence isn't going to matter. It's not going to match up. They're going to say no, it was a waste of your time, okay? And I want to tell you that it is a huge risk to reach out to someone before you're ready, because that publicist or assistant or whoever could immediately mentally take you and put you in the amateur box and never open one of your emails again. So even though this strategy worked for me, I reached out to a few people before I was ready, and thank goodness that that didn't happen to me. Again, a little bit lucky in that they didn't write me off, probably because the quality of my content was there even though I didn't quite have the distribution yet. Which brings me to my next point. You've got to get larger distribution. After I had some testimonials, which anytime a guest or someone you connect with says something nice about you, you can ask them, hey, can I quote that in an email to someone else? Or if you have a tweet or something from them, that's public. You can post that, retweet it, share a link to that. That's important. Get your endorsements and your testimonials. But once you have momentum going, you've got some great content, you've got some speed behind you, you reach out to larger channels for distribution. They're not, for the most part, going to reach out to you. I reached out when I was at the 4-month mark, and that changed everything for me, because now, guys, when someone sits down with me for 40 minutes for an interview, they get multiple placements. They get a placement on iTunes, on my YouTube channel, on Entrepreneur's YouTube channel, on Entrepreneur's website where I write articles. This definitely adds to my workload. Okay, so just adding distribution isn't like some golden ticket, because you have to actually create for them. Either you tailor the post the way they like it, or like for me, I create short little clips because they don't want to post the whole interview and I don't want to post the whole interview. I want to own that. Produce clips, I write a content, I do a lot of that all completely myself still, in addition to the everyday work it takes to make the pursuit run and go and get guests and all that stuff. So getting additional distribution is additional work, but for me, it was definitely worth it. I also want to talk about the legit option of paying to play, meaning you become a part of their course, you become their mentee if they offer paid coaching. That's definitely going to increase your chances. For sure, they're going to want to be on your podcast and talk about the success that you had in their program. But again, this isn't a golden ticket, because once you're in there, you better work your tail off and be a rock star student. Just signing up and becoming a student of theirs is not it. Okay, that's not going to seal the deal for you. Plus, a lot of them have thousands of students. So you're going to have to make yourself stand out. You're going to have to be engaged in the online community that they have, etc. So once you have all this going for you, you're ready to reach out, it's time to go for the ask. These people are not going to come to you, okay? You have to find, research, find the person to contact that person, and then realize that they are a gatekeeper, okay? So you might be talking to the bottom of the bottom totem pole at this publicity company, okay? You might be talking to the bottom of the food chain in that organization, some lowly intern who has to answer random emails like yours, okay? So realize that their job is to make sure that only important things get to their boss. So write your email in a way that it explains this is important to your boss. This is where you want to put the testimonials that you have so far. You want to link to your best content or most relevant to them, or interviews you've done with their colleagues and friends, okay? So you've got to go for the ask. Get up your courage, do it when you're ready. The most important thing I've said so far is distribution. Here's the second most important thing. Are you ready? Follow up. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up until you're dead. And I know some of you are like, okay, I'll follow up once a week for a few months. No, I followed up not once a week, not once a month, but just regularly when it made sense, when something happened in the news, when I interviewed one of their friends or colleagues, for over 18 months for some of these people, like Dave Ramsey and Rachel Ray. And like I said, when I first reached out, I really wasn't ready. So thank goodness they didn't write me off forever. But a lot of people would have given up. All right, guys, I hope that this helped you when it comes to pitching yourself to influencers. There's a lot I could talk about on this. Obviously, it makes or breaks what I do. It's hugely important to me. I would love to know what was your favorite tip in the comments. And also, if you feel like I need to expand on something or I didn't quite cover one of the topics or you have a follow-up question, shoot me a question anywhere on social media with hashtag KelseyQ&A. And if you want to give yourself a shameless plug when you ask your question, leave me a voicemail at thepursuit.tv/KelseyQ&A. Or you can send in a video message somewhere on social media. As long as I can download it, then I can put it in the video. I hope that you are enjoying this series as I break down success for the rest of us. Remember, if you want more information specifically on pitching to influencers, go to thepursuit.tv/pitching, and I'll be back soon with another edition of KelseyQ&A.